Hello everybody, how are you doing? It is Johnny from Johnny Cooks Food, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make an absolute classic. Are you ready to learn how to make a Rogan Josh? Lamb, of course. We're then of course going to learn how to make a mushroom header, a great side dish, packed full of flavour, turmeric, fennel and tomatoes and mushrooms, what could be better? And then a latchta paratha, which is a layered paratha, loads and loads of ghee and butter inside there to make it lovely and textury. So, let's get going, eh? Alright everybody, just before we get started, just want to remind you all to go to Blade Masters UK. Use the code JohnnyCooks to get 10% off and you can get yourself a fine premium whetstone to make sure all of your knives are lovely and razor sharp for all of your cooking needs. So remember, Blade Masters UK, code Johnny Cooks, 10% off. Go see him now. Cheers. Okay, so this is the marinade now for our lamb. So in this bowl there is around about 1 kilo of diced lamb. We've gone for leg of lamb on this one. We've gone for good bits of fat on here, so you can see there's some fat in there. You want a good amount of fat on this to make sure that you do get good flavour. That's all right. So what we're going to do, we are going to marinate. So first thing we're going to add just a teaspoon of mild chili powder into there. We're going to add a teaspoon of cumin powder. We're going a bit low, but that's okay, we've still got enough for the purposes of this. That. I'm going to add a tablespoon of ground coriander. Get some more out of this. Really fragrant, so I don't mind adding extra of this. Coriander in. Add a teaspoon of garam masala, going to add a couple of strands of saffron. So this is this is 1 gram of saffron in here, and I want just a couple of strands. So let's get this open and added. Okay, so I've finally got it open. It took me just a little while, so we're going to add a couple of strands of saffron in there. Got the saffron added, and then finally 3 or 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt. Go, that's our tablespoons in there, and a little splash of oil as well, just to help with that marination. There we go. And then we are going to mix in. I am going to use my hands, because like I've said previously, I really do enjoy getting my hands in, feeling everything, making sure that it all feels how it should, making sure that all of the spices are mixed in. So that is all covered, and we're going to leave that for half an hour. I am going to cover it and put it in the fridge, just to make sure that it is nice and marinated, ready for when we come to do the rest. Alright, so what I've decided to do is I'm just going to prep my my breads now, leave them to rest and everything, and ready, just because it's easier, to be honest, to kind of leave everything ready to go. So in this bowl we have 700 grams of just ordinary plain flour. That's it. That's it, nothing else, just 700 grams. In here we have 150 millilitres of milk. 150 millilitres milk with some saffron strands in it just to help infuse. There's about 4 or 5, something like that in there. In here we have, basically we've got some fennel seeds, The fennel seeds is about half a tablespoon. I've pounded them up slightly in the pestle and mortar just to make that nice. Now, move these over to one side a little bit while we add some extra little bits. So, we're going to add in some sugar. Sugar wise, we want half a tablespoon. So, half a tablespoon of sugar. There we go. And we want 2 tablespoons of ghee. Probably going to put a little bit more than that in because there we go. I'm going to add the milk and the saffron and the fennel seeds. Now you may notice this is in a big bowl. I'm not going to be using my hands for this one. I don't mind doing bread in a mixer, and that is what we are going to be doing with this one. So this will be put into a stand mixer and mixed until it forms a lovely dough with just enough water to help it all come together. So this is what it will look like. It's a soft dough, it's not sticky. It's absolutely perfect. We're now going to leave that to rest somewhere reasonably warm, dry, draft free, covered with a towel. We're going to brush it with some ghee just before we do that as well, just to make sure that it is completely moist and ready for rolling. Alright, so here we have our mise en place for the start of our curry. So we have cassia, bay leaves, green cardamom, we've got black cardamom, we've got cloves. Then we've got 3 onions in here. Usually it would ask for a Kashmir chili, but I know I'm cooking for somebody who doesn't like heat, so I haven't put it in. This is some ginger and garlic paste. These are some chopped tomatoes and some tomato puree as well to put in. And then dry spices. We've got garam masala, mild chili powder, ground cumin, ground coriander. Obviously, we're going to use the meat that we marinated earlier and some water and stuff just to make it come together. But there we go. Let's get cooking. Alright guys, it's time for us to start cooking. So we're heating up some oil here, just on a medium heat. Don't want to go any higher than that. We're going to add our spices. And these are going to go in until everything starts to crackle, and then we'll add those onions once we get up to temperature. So you can hear now we're starting to get the sizzle. They should start to pop soon. Ready for us to add in our onions. Okay, so we are getting the occasional splutter every now and then. You see I've moved stuff around the pan just to kind of get it to just to kind of cook evenly and stuff. So we're going to add the onions. And we're going to cook this until it goes brown and sticky, and we're going to make sure that we keep it constantly moving so that nothing catches on the bottom, because we don't want it to burn, and it will burn. So keep stirring, keep checking it, let it caramelise, but don't let it burn. That's the key. So we can see here we're probably at the halfway stage. We're starting to brown around, they're soft, we're starting to caramelise. This is what we want for the rest, so we'll come back to it once it's ready. Alright guys, so I've moved it over onto this heat, ready for adding the meat in, but I just want to show you guys what it looks like now. There we go, deliciously brown, golden, not burnt, ready for the meat. So we're going to add that in now and seal that off. We've added the meat, and then what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we're stirring constantly to make sure that the meat gets cooked and sealed. So the lamb is now all sealed and ready to go. So we're going to add in quite a few things. So this here is our spice mix. This is half a teaspoon of chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of coriander powder, a teaspoon of cumin powder, and half a teaspoon of garam masala. I'm going to add that in. We're going to add in our tomatoes, our tomato paste, and our garlic and ginger as well. Mix through. We've also got a cup of water here that I've mixed with the marinade to add in as well. And then we're just going to simmer this on a low heat for about half an hour till the lamb's cooked. Now just to run through the prep for the mushroom header that we're doing. Basically it's a nice little totally mushroomy thing, it's class. I'm really looking forward to trying this. So we have mushrooms in here. And we've got about 500 grams of button mushrooms. Recipe does call for chestnut. I didn't have chestnut, so we're using button. We've got 3 medium tomatoes in here. I think they were a little bit smaller than medium, so I've added an extra one. We've got some ginger here. And then this we have some chili powder, some fennel powder, some ground ginger and some turmeric as well. And that's what we're going to use to make the mushroom header. So let's see how that's made. Okay, so for the mushroom header we have got some oil in a pan heating through nicely. We're going to add in our chopped ginger. And then we're just going to let that sit for a couple of minutes just to get fragrant. Okay, so we've got the ginger that's been in there for a while. That is lovely and fragrant. Now we're going to add our tomatoes. Careful. And some salt. There we go. And we're going to let them soften. Okay, so we've let those sit for a little bit. We're going to add the spice powders now. There we go. Then again, we're just going to let this sit and stew together till the tomatoes have softened. Alright, so these tomatoes are now soft. They're yielding. They're not sort of giving me much resistance to them already. So now we add the mushrooms in. And we stir everything together. Just to kind of coat everything. And obviously with these being button mushrooms, I haven't cut them down. They don't need it, they're absolutely fine as they are. And then we'll just cook these up for about 5 to 7 minutes until they're soft. What I'm probably going to do though, because I've got Rogan Josh still simmering away at the back, you can see it here, maybe. There we go, you can see it there. So because of that, I'm going to let that simmer down. I'm probably not going to cook these all the way through fully. I'll leave these for a minute or two before cooking, so that when I heat them through ready to serve, they'll be then finishing cooking. We're going to let the Rogan Josh go off, and I'm going to finish off those parathas. Alright guys, so we are doing parathas. So we're getting the dough out of its bowl. We're free to loose. Just going to spread just a touch of flour just to help us. There we go, we've got our dough. So we're going to divide this up into balls, approximately 70 grams. So we're just going to cut through and this one's being floured, so that will move easily. Touch more flour on just to help with the process of moving everything about. So, just about smaller than a tennis ball. Roll it into a ball. And then we'll put it to one side. I've just put mine on a silpat mat, ready for the next step. So we'll come back to it when we get there. Alright, so we've got the paratha here. All I'm going to do is just get my ghee, smear it over the top just to keep them moist. Not a huge amount, it's all good. And then we're going to keep this ghee to one side because we're going to need it for rolling out. And now we're ready to roll. So I've cleaned down the bench a little bit. And I've got my dough. I'm going to just take some of the flour from the back. And then we're going to flour our rolling pin, and then we just roll out. If it sticks, that's fine. Just re-roll it out. Right, so we've rolled it out, we've smeared it with just a little bit of ghee, flour on, and then we're going to do the folding. So kind of like, more like that. So get those folds in, as they are. Go, and then we're just going to roll, pop it up, and then roll it tight. And don't be worried if there's ghee coming out, that's what you want. And then we're going to place it back on our mat and let it rest for another couple of minutes till we're ready to roll that out. So let's do the rest. Alright, so we've made our pleated balls. We're going to add some more in. And then this here is a ball that is perfect. It's round, all the pleats are in. The bottom has been tucked under to form this nice neat ball. Some more dusting flour there. And all we're going to do is just roll out. To the size that we want. With sticks. Add some more flour. Now I want quite big parathas for everything, so that's what we're going to do. This one's ready to go, so let's go cook it. Alright, so we have our pan ready to go. So in here, this, trying to work it out, there it is. So this is our Rogan josh, that's just been simmering away. Here's our mushrooms, not fully cooked yet, but ready to heat up and ready to go. And this is a dry pan. You put the paratha in on a dry pan so that it doesn't get too overly fatty, and then you add ghee in once you're ready and it's brown. So I'll show you that as we go through. So that is now in. It is the whole size of the pan. So we're going to use that there to cook. So I'll come back to you when it's brown and ready to flip. Alright, so I have flipped, and as you can see it's started to brown. And again we're just going to add more ghee, just to, well, add to the richness in that, isn't it, really? So we're going to leave that there. And that's basically all we're doing. We're just browning both sides, ghee on, and then we're pretty much ready to serve. So it's time to serve, and you can see here we've got some wonderful lacha paratha. They're all cooked inside. Going for the triangular shape on this one. You can see it's beautifully brown both sides. And then you've got the rounder ones there. You can see all the individual layers have all popped up. Beautiful. Now, onto our Rogan josh. So you can see here it's gone, all come together. The lamb's perfectly cooked and moist. We've got the good gravy there as well. Rogan Josh. Now we come on to our mushroom header. And these are perfectly cooked now. They're soft, they're meaty, they're just perfect, unctuous, really good. And you can see that although there is tomatoes and all sorts in there, there's not a massive amount of sauce, which is good. There. And then we're just going to add on a paratha. And there we go. Mushroom header, Rogan Josh, and a lacha paratha. Enjoy. Alright guys, so there we go. That is how to make the absolute classic dish. So go ahead, give it a go, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, so we can make sure that you guys are all up to date with any more recipes that we get. I've been Johnny. Thank you very much, guys. See you on the next one.